Here, the Group 5, and we will be discussing the CWTS project proposal based on the dimension of development. But first, let us have the prayer. Let me call for Mr. Arvin Bonos for our prayer.
My name is Arvin Bonos, and good day, everyone. And let's bow our head and feel the presence of our Lord. Dear Lord and Father of all, thank you for today. Thank you for ways in which you provide for us all. For your protection and love, we thank you. Help us to focus our heart and minds on what we are about to learn. Inspire us by your Holy Spirit as we listen and write. We ask all in the name of Jesus. Amen. Objectives. We prioritize the first aid and emergency safety measures to address the social, cultural, and economic factors that affect health. First, to look forward the family planning can help the members, mostly women in our community, to lessen the cases of HIV, AIDS, STD prevention. The next one is to increase the environmental resources and management to our country. Next is to build more livelihood programs. Next is literary and numeracy education to achieve excellence and equity in literacy. Next is campus-based entrepreneurship for faculty, staff, and students to gain more information in religious ethics and morality. Lastly, provide advocacy and patriotism, help your country to do better.
Okay, here is our content. First is first aid and emergency safety measures, family planning, HIV/AIDS and STD prevention, environmental resources and management, livelihood programs, literacy and numeracy education, campus-based entrepreneurship, religious ethics and morality, political advocacy. Let me call for the next reporter or the first reporter. Miss
Good day, everyone. My name is Samantha May Alba. Una ko pong report is first aid and emergency safety measures. The primary goal of first aid is to keep the patient or impact person safe until they can receive a specialized treatment. It is the first aid or treatment given to a person who has been suddenly ill or injured. It is the care that a person provides as quickly as possible after an illness or an injury. Why it is important to know the safety measures first aid and emergency response. It, it gives you the tools you need to keep things from getting worse. In some cases, if a patient does not receive basic first aid care right once, their condition will rapid- rapidly deteriorate. You can stabilize a patient until emergency medical help arrive if you administer basic treatment. Here are significance of first aid training. Number one, create progressive safety. First aid training improves your awareness of first aid procedures, which are the mother of all safety precautions. It promotes security in order to live a stress-free life. The training will assist you in gaining the necessary knowledge to be aware of your surroundings and to prevent problems from occurring as soon as possible in order to ensure your safety. Training can help you save a lot of money if you have an accident that isn't predictable. Number two, helps to save the life. First aid and CPR are effective methods for saving lives. A well-trained person knows what to do in these situations, whereas an skilled one is perfected. This is why it is critical to obtain first first aid training and reputable institutions. Number three, enables primary pain relieving care. When someone is injured in an accident, it is critical to provide immediately first aid to alleviate the pain. First aid is rapid procedure that includes the use of appropriate materials to ease pain as much as possible. The appropriate approach could bring the situation under control, allowing the patient to be transferred to a hospital for necessary care. Number four, leverage applying the accurate method. Some common injuries necessitate specialized assistance in order to keep the events under control. A non-trained person will never be able to perform tasks as well as trained person. As a result, working as a first responder is a wise decision that can only be achieved through training. Number five, helps to increase security. The word security means it is the ability to live without fear, danger, or hurt. This mental state of being is a sense of safety that comes with first aid training. First aid training instills in you a sense of security that ensures the protection of your family and those in your immediately vicinity. Number six, improves protection against disease spread. First aid training is essential for teaching the family how to protect themselves from viral and vector-borne infections. In various parts of the world, tropical or seasonal disease are prevalent. First aid acquires a knowledge base that aids in the direction of people in daily lives. Number seven, leverage to diminish infection. The first aid kit contains all of the items needed to apply to the infection for additional protection and cure. An untrained person will not know how to administer the vaccine, wash their hands properly, or stay at home if they become ill. Only a qualified person can assist in the reduction or infection by providing first aid assistance and keep up the circumstance in the limit. A good first aid plan covers not only how to treat the problem right away, but also how to keep calm in risky situations. A skilled first responder can maintain control of the situation while keeping it safe and within bounds. As a result, if you want to get the most out of accident management, you need to take first aid training. Assist to cope with emergency. Every high-tech way of living comes with a high level of risk or hazard. A volunteer copes and delivers rapid aid in every first aid situation, utilizing the necessary instruments, materials, drugs, and bandage. In any emergency situation, first aid is a critical component. And the last, decrease fear of accident. A person who is well trained in first aid and knows how to use the equipment never believes in phobia. While you are receiving training, you will become courageous in your ability to perform the role that is required for the greatest result. You and your family will be safe and you get first aid training. What is what is emergency safety? Okay. Dito po natin malalaman yung mga step na gagawin natin to make sure na safe tayo sa mga mga disaster or emergency. This is the emergency safety measurements. Emergency evacuation. Emergency evacuation plans are created to ensure that all expected residents of a structure, city, or region are safe to evacuate in the shortest amount of time possible. For various hazards and conditions, a benchmark evacuation time is created. During an emergency evacuation, it is critical to consider people with disabilities. Multiple exits, contraflow lanes, and unique technologies will be used with disabilities. Will be with in conjunction with proper planning to ensure a comprehensive, rapid, and safe evacuation. First aid supplies or first aid kits are collection of life-saving equipment used by paramedics in emergencies to prolong the life of victims until they can be moved to a permanent hospital family. Lockdown is a policy that forces people or communities to remain in their current location, usually due to specific threats. Lockdown that affects an area rather than specific sites are commonly referred as stay at home or shelter in place. Shelter in place is finding a safe indoor area and staying there until situation is cleared or you are advised to evacuate. Emergency management, also known as disaster management, is the framework by which businesses, communities, or organizations respond to natural and man-made disaster, as well as terrorist attacks. Emergency management is concerned with reducing risk, planning for potential disaster and catastrophes, responding to threats or actual disasters, and recovering from disasters. Firefighting. A fireman battles fires to prevent loss of life, property destruction, and environmental destruction. Firefighting is a highly technical discipline that necessitates people who have open years learning both general and specialized firefighting procedures. Next reporter po.
My name is Real Doctor, and I'll be the next reporter. Types of common emergencies in the Philippines. So, what are the common emergencies I mean, what are those common emergencies in the Philippines? So, first is earthquakes, floods, home fires, hurricanes, landslides, and power outages. Since we have those common emergencies in the Philippines, we also have the common medical emergencies. Um, it- they are the bleeding, breathing difficulties. Someone could collapse. Someone could feel a lot of pain in their body parts. Um, Someone could have the epileptic or seizures. Why is it important to have the first aid knowledge and skills? So, of course, first, it equips us to help someone or to prevent the infections, and also it could also equips us to stay calm and be effectively. So, we all learn how to remain calm in emergency situations, and first aid training will make you or us confident and comfortable, and therefore more effective in control when you need to be. It also gives us to it also gives us the tools to prevent the situation from becoming worse. In some situation, if a patient doesn't receive a basic first aid care immediately, their situation will deteriorate often or often rapidly. By, by being able to prevent basic care, you can stabilize the patient until emergencies medical services arrives. Um, you could do that. You could do the first aid um, with the people around you who needs the help, and also the household and also the household benefits. So the household benefits, it's also so in the household benefits, um, for instance, if someone get accident in your home in home, having the first aid kit is very important. Normally, it includes bandages, gaza, alcohol, and pain relievers. They are the they're the first several aid skills that are valuable to you and your housemates, and especially if you have children in your house. So second is the disasters. So disasters, hold on. So yeah, there we go. So disasters are very inevitable. Um, the most of the disasters, um, most of the disasters are from the weather, because weather is very inevitable thing. So you may never know how injuries or damaging a hurricane, flood, or earthquake will be, but keeping your first aid with you and your loved ones will always be a must. Um, Moreover, in a certain cases of bleeding, bruises, or uh, dislocated body parts of your loved ones due to the impact, you could prevent the infections that they could experience. So because you have the knowledge of the first aid skills. So third is the if the workplace. So having someone is knowledgeable in a first aid is a must. For such be prepared because the important event of work could appear anytime. Okay, that's why you need to be knowledge about the first aid, and also first aid skills may not be the absolute and an expert way of treating injuries and alleviating those risks, but however, it is also important to have the knowledge that you may serve, you may save you may save or at least extend the lives of as many as the needs arise. Many people suffer from heart attacks, loss of consciousness, severe wounds and burns, and even joining almost every day. That's why being knowledgeable of risk and the ways to give temporary um, temporary relief to the person at a stake through the first aid is very significant to every person. So that's all.
Good day, everyone. My name is Rachel Dugas discussing family planning. Why we have to discuss family planning or why is family planning so important? First, uh, the family planning is not for parents only, but for teenagers to often more information o maging handa sa pagpaplano sa kinabukasan. Family planning, the practice of controlling the number of children at any hindi lang pagko-control ng number or pagdedesisyon mo kung paano mo handle yung isang ah, pamilyang bubuuin mo. About 40,000 women die each year from unsafe abortion. Ito yung mga teenager na nabuntis ng lahat. So sobrang depressed, pinapalaglag nila yung yung anak nila na nagkakos ng pagkamatay nila. About 250,000 women die each year from childbirth. Um, Gaya nga ng sinabi ko, pag hindi napagplanuhan yung pagbubuntis, pwede itong maging pagkamatay. The state tends to get pregnant after previous birth in between 2 and 3 years. Um, pwede mo naman siyang sundin, pwede mo naman siyang sundin. Nasa sa'yo yan kung kaya mo buhayin yung pamilya. Benefits ng method ng paggamit ng condom is permit spermicide implants, diaphragm, injection, female condom, IUD, and breastfeeding ay kaya netong maka-regain ng ah, health after delivery or magiging safe yung bata dito. Aside of that, ang family planning kasi kailangan mahirap bumuhay ng anak or kailangan mong magtrabaho, kailangan mong makahanap ng malaking kita or budget para lang sa gastusin mo. Ano din yan, sikat din dyan yung edukasyon at kalusugan. Hindi naman kailangan maging mayaman ka sobra. Kailangan mo lang mapaaral mo, alagaan mo yung anak mo. When we say contraception, ito yung device or drug service to prevent pregnancy. Yung mga nasa relasyon pa lang or hindi ka mag-asawa, ito yung nire-recommend para maiwasan yung maagang pagbubuntis. When we say contraception, ito yung device or drug service to prevent pregnancy. Ito yung pwedeng gamitin ng mga teenager or hindi pa mag-asawa uh, para maiwasan yung maagang pagbubuntis. Hindi naman kailangan as a partner kailangan mo gamitin yan. Nasa sa'yo pa din yung kung kaya mo palakihin ng maayos yung magiging anak mo or kung may sapat na trabaho ka na. May na-search akong mga katanungan kung makakapagbago sa mga decision ng mga kunyari magagawa na ng pamilya, sapat na ba yung kita mo para bumuo ng pamilya? Or sapat na ba kaalaman mo para bumuo ng pamilya? Sapat na ba yung financial mo o emotional? Kasi pag once na nagpamilya ka na, nandiyan na yung papasok yung kailangan mo na magtrabaho, work hard. Kaya saludo ako sa mga single parents that out there na kahit anong problema nila, kaya pa din nilang suportahan yung anak nila, kaya pa din nilang bigyan ng edukasyon. Nakakalungkot lang yung ibang pamilya na at the young age ng kanilang anak, kunyari 5 years old, pinagtatrabaho na nila to or inuutusan manlimos, medyo nakakasad. Nakakasad yun bilang tao. Nakakasad na makakita ng batang ah, nagtatrabaho na agad at young age. Kaya kung kayo, guys, magdidesisyon kayo ng pamilya, kailangan may sapat na financial, kaya nyo na, alam niya ng magulang mo. Yun lang po. Supportive.
Hello, good day. My name is Padme Clarice B. Gonzalez, and I will be reporting HIV, STD, or AIDS prevention. Sorry. First, what is sexually transmitted disease or STD? It is called sexually transmitted infections that spread from person to person through sexual activity, including anal, vaginal, oral sex. Um, di, yung causes din nito is bacteria, viruses, and parasites that cause sexually transmitted is illness can be passed from person to person by blood, sperm, or vaginal, or other psychological fluids. Parang ito yung level 1. Level 1 ng sakit ng tao when it comes to ayan, sakit sa loob, parang private part natin. Next one is HIV. What is HIV? Human immunodeficiency virus is a virus that attacks the body's immune system. If it's not treated, it can lead to AIDS. So, meaning to say, level 2 to. Kung STD level 1, kasi bacteria pa lang siya, pero um, nanggagaling na rin siya through sex, blood, fluids. Same din dito. Pero sa HIV, hindi ano eh, hindi through sex, hindi through saliva, hindi gano'n. Nakukuha natin yung HIV through pag sharing needles. Kunyari nagamit na yung needle na yon, yung injection na yon sa taong positive, HIV positive, tapos nagamit pa ulit sa'yo, pwede kang magkaroon ng HIV. Or mother to baby during pregnancy, birth, and breastfeeding. Or sexual contact. Kasi, di ba, alam naman natin, iba sa atin, or ibang tao is gusto yung mga raw na sexual activity. Next one is AIDS. It is caused by a virus called HIV. So, dito nga nanggagaling yung AIDS sa HIV. Your body will try to fight the infection. It will make antibodies, special molecules, to fight HIV. So, pag yung body mo hindi na nakayanan, na hindi na treat, pwedeng mag-lead talaga sa AIDS, sorry, sa AIDS. Yung HIV, pwede naman siyang i-treat kasi 'di ba ngayon wala pa naman talagang what do you call this? Wala pang effective cure or wala pang effective cure. Once you get HIV, you have it for life. Pero kapag tawag dito, medical or proper medical care, maano mo siya, matitreat mo siya or makokontrol mo siya. Hindi siya matitreat totally. Pero alam mo yun, ano ba tamang term? Yun, ma-maintain mo lang yung sakit mo. Parang hindi hindi lalala, ganun. Hindi siya mapupunta sa AIDS. A fun fact about HIV is it comes from the chimpanzee in Central Africa. The chimpanzee version of the virus called simian immune deficiency virus or SIV was probably passed to human when humans hunted these chimpanzees. Bakit nila hinahunt yung mga chimpanzees way back 1800s? Nakikipag-sex sila kaya ba sila nagkaroon ng HIV? No, kasi hinahunt nila 'to para kainin. So yung siguro yung taong nakahuli ng chimpanzee para kainin nga yun, merong SIV. Kaya ayun, nagkahawa-hawa na sila. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa ring mahanap na gamot and parang parang virus na rin sa atin. Virus na nga talaga eh. Okay, how to avoid HIV? Protect others if you have an HIV. O, paano mo daw poprotektahan yung ibang tao kung ikaw ay HIV positive? Unang-una, HIV medicine or antiretroviral therapy or ART can reduce the amount of HIV in the blood called viral load. Okay, blood called viral load. Yung ART or yung ART antiretroviral therapy, hindi siya yung gamot agad. Hindi siya yung magagamot agad. Ano lang, ginagawa niya lang, yung viral load mo, binababaan niya lang. So, para pag na-test ka, hindi madedetect. So, ang tawag doon, undetectable viral load. People have, people with HIV who keep an undetected viral load or undetectable blood can live long, healthy lives. Siguro hindi healthy lives kasi may sakit na siya eh. May dala na siyang sakit, pero low naman. Pero yun nga, mas meron kang chance na mag mamuhay ng mas mahaba. Next one is protect yourself during sex. Alam naman natin yan, napaka-basic. Gumamit ng condom. Ano ng condom? Ano pa? Gumamit ng condom, wag masyadong madaming sexual partners. And hindi ka naman yun nga sabi ko kanina, hindi ka naman magkakaroon ng hindi ka mahawa kapag yung partner mo merong HIV through kissing, saliva, and yung smack kiss, hindi yun. Basta blood, fluids lang. So, yeah. Kapag naman hindi mo alam, may naka one night stand ka na may HIV pala, mas better na magpunta ka agad sa doktor para matreat agad-agad. Protect yourself if you inject drugs. Paano to? Okay, how am I protect or how can I prevent getting HIV from injection drug use? Use new clean syringe and injection equipment every time you inject. Many communities have syringe service programs where you can get a new needles and syringes and safely dispose of used ones. Ito naman, next one is mother-to-child transmission. Kung nanay ka na and you know na HIV positive ka, anuhin mo na, ipa-medic mo na rin si baby. And kung negative siya, wag na mag-breastfeed. The earlier HIV is diagnosed and treated, the more the effectively HIV medicine will prevent transmission to your baby. Kung ikaw and your partner mo is engaged in behaviors that you put you at risk or for HIV, magpa-test ulit sa third trimester. Pati yung partner mo, syempre, kasi kayong dalawa yung involved doon, pati si baby involved din doon. So yeah, stay safe, guys. And the last one is the symptoms pala ng HIV. Fevers, ayan. Kitang, paano ba? Ay, shucks. Kita ba? Or masyadong maliit? Anyway, ito yung mga symptoms ng HIV. Fevers, chills, rash, night sweats, muscles aches, sore throats, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, and mouth ulcer. Merong mga tao na hindi naman nafe-feel na sick sila pero HIV positive. So, very low chance. Very low. Yeah, very low. I think that's the end of my report. Thank you. Next ko pa pala.
Hello po. I'm Lucky Naladin R from BSBA MM1. So my topic is Environmental Resource Management. So ano nga ba to? So it is intended po to provide people a solid grasp as to how ecological concepts may be applied to natural resource management and conservation, as well as practical skills and approaches po. Environmental resource management seeks to identify elements that are influenced by conflicts that arise between fulfilling demands and safeguarding resources. So, ang pangangalaga po sa kapaligiran, pagpapanatili, pamamahala ng likas na yaman, pamamahala ng pangisdaan at pamamahala ng kagubatan bukod sa iba pang mga bagay ay lahat connected po dito sa environmental resource management. In summary po, environmental resource management is taking part in scientific attempts to preserve the overall quality of diverse regions such as forests, parks, mountain ranges, and other beautiful landscapes. Isa pong example ng environmental resource management is integrating environmental management practices such as initiatives that expressly demand the engagement of local communities for their long-term sustainability. Activities may include irrigation water management, soil and water conservation, community forestry, and etc. Another example po is mag-establish po tayo ng forum where representatives from various government departments may discuss issues regarding environmental research and resources po. Yun lang po. Thank you po. Next reporter po.
Hi guys, my name is Macnil Grad and I'm gonna report about is literacy education. So before we go to literacy education, we must first know what is literacy. So literacy is traditionally understood as the ability to read and write, but literacy included the ability to use language, numbers, images, and other means to understand. So next now is literacy education. What is literacy education? Like what it said, literacy education is a process by which one expands one's knowledge of reading and writing in order to develop one's thinking and learning for the purpose of understanding oneself. And I'm sure most of us receive it since we start learning and still receiving it as we advance and learn new skills. It is important that all of us receive it because it is our foundation on having a better life, like what we college students do now. We learn new things as we advance and use it to reach our dreams and goals, and it also help us to get jobs. That's all from me. Next report.
So my name is Adrian Nava and I will be reporting numeracy education. So what is numeracy? Can be defined as the fundamental ability to apply and comprehend basic math concepts in the real world. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are the basic math concepts. It uses and applies mathematical ideas to solve problems in everyday or applied contexts, and having the confidence and skills to use math in everyday life. So, what is numeracy skills? It is the ability to use, interpret, and communicate mathematical information to solve real-world problems. This includes the ability to understand basic math. More advanced numeracy skills incorporate the use of graphical, statistical, and algebraic concepts and the ability to interpret that data and apply it to real-world situations. Here are the examples included: measurement and data analysis, basic knowledge of numbers, and lastly, calculation skills. And that's all for numeracy education. Next reporter po. And next slide.
So, hello everyone. I'm going to report campus-based entrepreneurship. By the way, my name is Paul John Pineda from DSBA MM1. So, for improving the betterment of the community and giving active participation to community project by having a campus-based entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship program is to help those people in starting their own business by having another source of income. Example of that is having a livelihood programs to our community. And dito din natin nalalaman yung pagiging productive and responsible ng isang tao to himself but also to their community. One of the factor to our economic growth is being a leader to our surroundings. We need to help our community efficiently by giving them proper education about the environment and livelihood programs to help them generate income, but also to the responsible people and to the environment as well. To shorten this topic, based entrepreneurship, the objective here is ang pagiging responsibility mo as an entrepreneur to the environment on how you treat yourself and to your co-workers. Because nagsisimula ang pagiging leader natin through ourselves, then sa community na nakapalibot sa atin. So if you are a person who just running a big business just to make an income para sa'yo, is pangit yon na mindset. Because if you're a good entrepreneur, You care for others, you know the responsibility as a leader, not just by the sake of money. You care for your surroundings, you care for the community and the environment as a whole. So, yan po yung sa campus-based entrepreneurship. Next reporter.
Hi, my name is Jed Amoroto from SBA MM1. My topic for today is religious ethics and morality. Religious ethics. Religious ethics. When we heard about ethics, this is the right and wrong behavior of a human act. So for our topic, religious ethics is controversial because we have different beliefs from a religious point of view, like what we said here. Um, Example of Muslims and Catholics. We don't know who really our Lord is. They can start an argument between their religion because their faith are different. Even if still lack of evidence who they're praising with, they will not be influenced to change their religion. So we are here in morality. Morality. So what is morality? The simplest answer that is morality is the human attempt to define what is right and wrong about our action and thoughts and what is good and bad about our being who we are. But that's not really all that simple, is it? Philosophers have been attempting to provide answers to this question for thousands of years. Perhaps if we stand upon their shoulders and look at this question, we can find some answer that will be meaningful for us. The question is morality and religion can be separated? No, because morality and religion is the relationship between religious views and morals. Many religions have value frameworks regarding personal behavior meant to guide adherence in determining between right and wrong. Meron tayong iba't ibang ugali, pero pagdating sa relihiyon, ito ay pagpapatungkol sa isang behavior ng tao bilang respeto at paggalang sa kanya-kanyang paniniwala.
Hey everyone, my name is Gerald Reyes and I will report advocacy. What is political advocacy? Political advocacy is where you bring your personal stand in public. If you are say your personal stand or opinion in particular issue. For example, you can share your stand about, let's say, legalization of divorce in the Philippines. You can share in your social media account that divorce will be legalized or not legalized in the country and state your reason. Some other examples of issues of political advocacy are the legalization of abor- abortion or drugs, stand on war drugs, death penalty, some sex union, and much more. How those political advocacy related to public affairs? Polit- Politician can or candidates activate their stand to be potential voters or supporters. They are agreed with their advocacy. For example, if you are against extrajudicial killing, you mostly like vote for Lenny Robredo. And if you are a EJK, then you will most like vote for Isko Moreno. Same as with vice president and senators. But sometimes people in politics or people who aspire to be a politics advertise their advocacy to pursue people in advocacy. This debate are their way to drive people to in their side. They make people believe that bring them to their advocacy is the right stand to issue. This is why there are politician rally and caravans and it where can connect with people, talk to them, speak them to help sharing their advocacy. Okay, next reporter please.
Hi, I'm Lay Fabre and I'm going to talk about patriotism or pagiging makabayan. It refers to the feeling of attachment and commitment to a country or a nation or political community. The term often brings to mind people directly involved with the defense of a nation, namely military service members as well as states and local government representatives. But this is just a misconception. I'll explain why. Patriot is someone who feels a strong support for their country. For example, the soldiers showed exemplary patriotism defending their country from attack. So, di ba, pag sinabing patriotism, it goes straight to our minds yung mga sandalong nakikipaglaban for their country. However, patriotism can take many other forms outside serving in the military and public office, such as diplomats, teachers, first responders, at marami pang iba. And so, we don't have to be a soldier in war to be patriotic. It can also be viewed as a national pride, like a feeling of love, devotion, and a sense of attachment to a homeland or a country, as well as alliance with other citizens who share with the same sentiments to create a feeling of oneness among the people. This attachment can be a combination of many different feelings like language relating to a homeland, ethnic, cultural, and political or historical aspects. Patriotism is different from nationalism. As we know, the words patriotism and nationalism were once considered synonyms. They have taken on different connotations. Patriotism generally has a positive connotation. It's for various positive sentiments, attitudes, and actions involving loving one's country and serving the great good of all its people. So patriotism is based on love towards people with a great emphasis on values and beliefs regardless of gender, religion, or status ng isang tao. Basically, patriotism brings people together. While nationalism generally has a negative connotation, it's used for political ideologies and movements that are more extreme and exclusionary love of one's country, belief that one's home country is superior to all others. It also carries a connotation of distrust or disapproval of other countries, leading to the assumption that other countries are rivals. So basically, nationalism is a kind of excessive and aggressive patriotism dahil sa power or sovereignty na gustong makamit ng isang nation. Pero may good side din naman ang nationalism dahil it promotes national unity and solidarity. The feeling of patriotism is important for the freedom of a country. Because patriotism embraces freedom, justice, and equality, I believe that if we practice patriotism in our daily lives, we will have peace and freedom to express ourselves without fear of being judged by others. And because we are open to everything, the next generation will find it easy to adapt to the situation if we continue to be patriotic. Patriotism is a great thing, just depends on how we use it. Definitely, we all participate in this space of patriotism, like voting, freedom of speech, observance of national holidays, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and many more. These things are all part of being an Filipino citizens. Just a little reminder before I wrap up my presentation, everybody must have patriotic feeling to make the country and themselves exist in a proper manner. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Princess Darlene Bigalang from BSB MM1, and I am here to report to you the different livelihood programs exist in the Philippines. So before I proceed to that, I would like to give you some ideas kung bakit nga ba nag-exist yung mga ganitong programa sa bansa natin. So these programs aims to help the less fortunate members of the society for their daily needs. So bakit nga ba nag-exist tong mga programs na to? Ang first is, sa kasalukuyan, alam naman natin na malaking problema pa rin ng bansa natin ang kahirapan. That is why we are still in the third world country. And these programs, hini-help niya na ma-reduce kahit paano yung kahirapan and ma-help yung mga tao na makaahon sa kahirapan. So, there are three kinds of programs. First is the Sustainable Livelihood Programs. Second is the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipina Program. And third is the government-partnered or non-government-initiated livelihood programs. So I will explain to you the differences between the three programs. So first is the Sustainable Livelihood Programs. So itong Sustainable Livelihood Programs, it is government-initiated programs na nilaled ng DSWD or also known as the Department of Social Welfare and Development. So itong program na to, it aims to reduce poverty. The reason why I emphasize the word reduce is because the main goal of these programs is makapagturo ng skills and makapag-undergo yung mga tao ng training na magagamit nila in the near future. One of the best example is yung mga tahian na pinaprovide or binubuo sa mga barangay po na pwedeng pumasok yung mga kababayan natin, matuto sila kung paano nga ba manahe, and in the future naman magagamit nila, it will be a big help to them. Sooner or later makakapasok sila sa mga factories, sa mga companies na naghahanap ng ganong skilled workers. Kasi 'di ba, aminin man natin o hindi, malaki o maliit na kumpanya, kadalasan naghahanap sila ng experience. And it will be a big help sa mga kababayan natin para makapasok sila sa mga ganon, kahit hindi sila nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. And this program also establish, and this program also show kung ano nga ba yung nasa constitution natin, which is mabigyan ng equal opportunity lahat at matulungan yung mga less fortunate people natin. So next is the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. So I know almost everyone po sa atin is aware about sa 4-piece po. So 4-piece program na nilaled din ng DSWD. So nung elementary po ako sa public school, madalas ko na po itong marinig. Kasi po, mga recipient po yung ibang mga kaklase po ng 4-piece na to. And I know na sobrang big help po nito ever since na nag-start po. So yung way nito is through cash funding. So for short term lang po talaga ito makakatulong sa mga kapwa nating Pilipino. Unlike yung sa first ko pong explain na ang goal niya po is for long term, na makapagturo ng skills and makapag-undergo ng training yung mga kababayan natin para magamit nila. Dito naman po is through cash fundings po. So they can use this for food or for educational use naman po na pwedeng maging reason sa, 'di ba, dun para makamit nila yung inaasam nila na kalayaan sa kahirapan po. Sobrang big help po nito sa mga tao. Hanggang ngayon alam ko na marami pa rin matutulungan tong programang to and sa future pa po. So third is government partnered or non-government initiated livelihood programs. So from its word, non-government livelihood programs, this means that this is through willingness and personal decision of people to help their fellow kababayan. And the fundings or yung money na pinagmumulan po nito is galing na sa sariling bulsa ng mga tao na nag-establish ng mga programs under this one. So disclaimer lamang po, sobrang dami pong existing na non-government livelihood programs in our country. But I will just give you some examples and I will just give you ideas kung ano nga ba yung aim or yung goal ng mga programs under this one. So first is the Villar Sipag. So from its word, galing po ito sa mag-asawang Manny Villar and Cynthia Villar. Sila po yung nag-establish nito noong 1995 pa guys. So this Villar Sipag livelihood program, kagaya siya ng mga government established livelihood programs, naniniwala sila na hindi lang dapat bigay ka ng bigay dun sa mga tao ng pera. Sabi nga nila napakaganda nung sinabi nila na the best way to help the poor fight poverty is by providing them the skills and access to resources and materials to start their own business. Kasi there is a difference between helping people to improve and helping people because of mercy, dahil naawa ka lang guys. So this livelihood program, ini-aim niya na mabigyan ng skills din and mag-undergo din ng training yung mga kababayan natin na pwede nilang magamit in the near future. And Child Hope's livelihood programs. So Child Hope's livelihood program doesn't exist only in the Philippines. It actually exists in the whole Asia. So Child Hope Philippines, from its name, it focuses on empowering the youth, and it also acknowledges that everyone should has the right to be educated. So nag-launch sila ng Street Youth Empowerment Project or SYEP. The main goal is to help the out-of-school youth or yung mga street children makikita natin ng mga basic things na dapat nilang malaman. From reading, writing, and some programs also include na matutunan nila yung mga basic business venture na magagamit nila in the near future. So third is the ADB. So third is the ADB funded livelihood programs. So ADB funded livelihood programs, kagaya ng sinabi ko po kanina, it is government partnered or non-government initiated livelihood program. So it is the partnership of Asian Development Bank and our DOLE or Department of Labor and Employment. So ang target nitong mga lugar na matulungan is yung mga provinces po like Negros Occidental. Ito po yung pinaka naging main target nila ng pilot testing nila in 2018. So it focuses on giving agricultural support in the area, and gaya ng sinabi ko, 2018 po siya nag-start. So after 2 years, kaka-start pa lang nung livelihood programs na ginigive nila is nag-start na yung pandemic natin. So during pandemic, napakadaming tao po yung nawalan ng work, nawalan ng pangkabuhayan, pero with the help of ADB-funded livelihood programs, natulungan po sila. I have read an article about how this livelihood program helps them during the pandemic. She is from Negros Occidental, and her name is Maria Corazon Gailon. Isa po siyang, nag-work po siya sa canteen before, and yung naglalaba po sa mga bahay-bahay. And during lockdown, nawalan po siya ng work. And dun sa lugar nila is tumaas talaga yung unemployment rate po during pandemic. Pero dahil nga po, isa siya sa mga beneficiary ng ADB-funded livelihood programs, binigyan po siya ng 2 baboy, mag-asawa, and then ng mga pagkain, and tinuruan din po siya kung paano mag-alaga. Yun po yung pinagkunan nila ng income during pandemic, kaya sila nakasurvive. So, the reason why I emphasize this is to show how important livelihood programs, especially to small communities na vulnerable pagdating sa economic instability, na pwedeng mangyari ng bigla-bigla na lang. Yung mga gaya ng pandemic, we didn't see it coming. But dahil sa mga ganito na mga livelihood programs, nakaka-survive yung mga tao. And it is really a big help to everyone. So before I end this report, I would like to emphasize the ultimate purpose of livelihood programs in the Philippines, which is to alleviate people from poverty. It really opens a lot of possibilities to our fellow kababayans na underprivileged dahil nga hindi sila nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. And a lot of our kababayan, we can see naman na they're very thankful and sobrang nakaka-help sa kanila yung mga livelihood programs na to. I'm just happy to see na from the government with the personal willingness of our kababayan na makatulong, sobrang big help nito sa bawat isa. So, I would like to end my report this way, that as a person, I don't support helping people by just giving them money. If you really want to help people, you have to help them move forward. So give them all the resources they need. Give them all the help you can give to build for them to be able to build their own stair for success. Don't just give them, because there is a big difference between helping them because you want them to succeed, and helping them just you mer- because of your mercy, because naaawa ka lang sa kanila. So again, I am Darling Galang from DSB MM1. Thank you.
So, hello, I'm Nikki Tige from SBA Marketing Management. To summarize our report, discusses the importance of awareness on income, education, work, neighborhood, safety, and social supports, that these are all our social and economic elements that influence how well and how long we live. These characteristics influence our ability to make healthy decisions, afford medical treatment and housing, and manage stress, among the other things, such as those opportunities like decent schooling, solid careers, and social networks are essential for living a long and healthy lives. Employment, for example, gives the revenue that influence housing, schooling, childcare, food, medical treatment, and other decisions. Unemployment, on the other hand, limits this option as well as the opportunity to save and acquire assets that may aid caution in times of economic crisis. These elements aren't often considered when it comes to health, yet measured to enhance them can be have more impact on ourselves and our society. That's all.
And that's the end of our report. Um thank you guys for listening. Again, we are group 5. Bye.